Shalom Aleichem, Erev Tov, good evening. We are in the laws of Chanukah with the Rambam, the second half. And if I say the second half, I would be lying because Rabbenu Rambam decided to leave all the laws of Chanukah for the second chapter. Really, we got the first one, which was the story of Chanukah. And then the fact that who's obligated to light the Chanukiah. And then we mentioned the mitzvah of Hallel, and we got stuck on Hallel for the whole chapter. So now, we're in Perek Revi'i, the fourth chapter, and Rabbenu Rambam is going to tell us today a few things. How many candles we light, what time we light, what kind of oil we're allowed to use in order to light, where we light, and how important it is to light. So all of that information we're going to try to cover tonight. Says Rabbenu Rambam, Kama nerot hu madlik b'Chanukah. How many candles, and when I say candles, I don't mean candle as in wax candles from Target that say have a nagila on them. I mean lights. How many lights does one light on Chanukah? Mitzvata. So there is a basic requirement of what is the mitzvah, meaning what is the basic obligation. Mitzvata shye kol bait uvait madlik ner echad. Is that every household, not people, every household lights one candle. Ben shehayu anshe habayit merubin, ben shelo haya bo ela adam echad. Whether there were many people living in the house or there's only one person living in the house. It doesn't matter how many people living in the house. Yeah, for 8 days. One candle every night, meaning on night number 2 you light one candle. On night number 8 you light one candle. So meaning you have one Chanukah light every night. That's the reason we light that candle is because of Chanukah. Doesn't matter, 5th night, 6th night, 7th night, all of them have the same amount, one candle. If you have no money, if you have no people, you light one candle, that's the mitzvah of Chanukah. V'hamehader et mitzvah. Somebody who wants to do the mitzvah, very unique. In the laws of almost all the whole laws I can think about, Chanukah is probably the only one, if not one of the only ones that has in it a concept of mehadrin in this category. V'hamehader et mitzvah. A mehader is somebody who tries to do it more beautifully. Want to do the mitzvah better? Madlik nerot k'minyan anshe habayit. You light the same right amount of candles that correspond to the amount of people living in the house. Ner lekol echad ve'echad. One candle for every person in the house. Ben anashim, ben nashim. Whether that's men or women, everybody lights, meaning we light one candle for behalf of everybody. So that means that on night number 1, how many candles do you light? Let's say you are 2 people, okay? 2 people, a husband and a wife. How many? No, it's husband, not a good idea. Okay, that's fine. Let's run with it, husband and wife. Okay. My family, 6 children and 2 adults. 8. So the first night of Chanukah, you light 8. Second night of Chanukah, 8. Third night of Chanukah. So what does the number of candles tell you in a house that follows the Hidu? The number of people that are inside of the house that are observing Chanukah. So basic level is 1 candle for the whole house every night. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. The next level is 1 candle for everybody in the house, but the same amount every night.
Question.
Yes.
The Karaites light menorah.
I have no clue what Karaim do on Chanukah. But that's a fantastic question. I would find it hard to believe the Karaim celebrate Chanukah, but I don't know to tell you. I'm not. Or if they do, if they would do it the way we do. V'amehader yater al zeh, somebody who wants to do more than that. Ve'oseh mitzvah min hamuvchar, and you wish to do a mitzvah even better. So this is now mehadrin min mehadrin. These are like the extra. Madlik ner lekol echad ve'echad balayla harishon. You light 1 candle for everybody on the first night. Umosif ve'holech bechol layla ve'layla echad. And every night you add 1 more. What does that mean, says the Rambam? Because that's not so clear. Ketzad, what does it mean? How? הרי שהיו אנשי הבית 10. Let's say 10 people live in the house. בלילה הראשון מדליק 10 נרות. On the first night, he lights 10 candles. ובליל שני, in the second night, 20 candles. ובליל שלישי, 30 candles. 30. עד שנמצא מדליק בליל שמיני 80. The 8th night, you light 80 candles. So, you have mitzvah, you have hidur, and then you have mehadrin mina mehadrin. Okay? Before I continue this halakha, it is obvious to you from the language of the Rambam that though he mentions how many people are living in the house, how many people are lighting Chanukah candles?
He just says madlik.
What does madlik mean?
Father of the house is like
The head of the household lights a candle. The mitzvah of Chanukah. Remember, mitzvah number 1 is ner ish uveto, 1 candle for the household. So whoever is responsible for the household is responsible for the mitzvah of Chanukah. That means that even if you want to start lighting more candles in the house, never is there a scenario, according to the Rambam, that everybody lights their own candles inside of a house because they don't have their own candles. The mitzvah is the mitzvah of one person in the family on behalf of the whole family. And in all the levels of Chanukah, even when you're lighting 80 candles on the 8th night for 10 people who live in the house, it's one person who lights 80 candles for everybody. It's very important that when we learn this halakha, you separate how you've seen Chanukah be celebrated by Orthodox Jews or whoever other Jews you might see in the world dancing around. But at the end of the day, our Chachamim, that was not the way that they observed Chanukah, and that would be very foreign to them. Now, Harav Kapach makes a note. It's really nice, get everybody involved in chinuch and whatever else, but it's not with the way that the rabbis observed this rabbinic holiday.
the household that you want to have a prayer for the 8 days.
For the 8 days. For example, you go to the table on Shabbat. Who makes kiddush? The head of the household. Now, you're probably already smiling now because you probably have seen households where 20 people make kiddush. Also, not normal behavior. Very unusual behavior for a Jewish family. One person makes the kiddush. I can't tell you all my feelings about kiddush right now. How can I trust you to do kiddush for me?
What if the head of the household's like a woman, like?
Give me an example. Let's say I go on a trip, yeah? I'm away for Shabbat, okay? Ima should make kiddush. With the head of the household. But how about used to tell some people? How about to say in your house, your wife should make kiddush. Understand? So now here, halakha gimel. Minhag pashut. It is the prevalent custom. Bechol arenu bisfarad, in all of our cities in Spain. Shiyu kol anshe habayit madlikin balayla rishon. That all of the people on the one candle on the first night. Umosifin veholchin ner bechol layla valayla. And you add one candle every night. Ad shenimtza madlik beleil shemini shemona nerot. That on the 8th day you light 8 candles. Ben shehayu anshe habayit merubim, ben shehaya adam echad. Whether there's many people in the house or there's only one person in the house, the custom in Sepharad was there is one Chanukah in the house. On night number 1, you light 1 candle. On night number 2, 2 candles. On night number 8, 8 candles. 1 Chanukah for the whole family. Nowhere in the Rambam is there going to be a minhag, like I told you, that everybody lights 8 candles for themselves. Certainly not with everybody saying their own bracha. Because if the mitzvah is 80 candles in the house, because that's what you say, there are 80 candles in the house. I want to do that, he do. But the mitzvah is on one person's shoulders. So can't be that you can let other people, for example, could the father of the house he wants to light the first 20, he gets tired, he wants to light the next 20. It could happen like that. You can do that? Of course. You can delegate a mitzvah, but what you cannot do is tell the guy who starts lighting number 20 to make his new bracha. For what? I already said the bracha, why are you making another bracha? How could you be in a reality where 10 people are lighting 10 Chanukiyot? Everybody is reciting their own bracha. Now here, obviously, I'm sitting here from somebody once accused me of teaching halacha from a Sephardic normative place. I don't know how to say that word exactly. They're right. I am reading to you the Rambam. That is exactly. I didn't purport to read to you the Ramah or the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. There is definitely an Ashkenazi custom that everybody in the house lights their own Chanukah. Even there, I don't understand the minhag, because over there, for sure, the poskim are very clear that a woman does not light a Chanukah. Your mother lights her own Chanukah?
No,
Of course not. No. Do you know that in San Diego, the women all light their own Chanukah? Because they're not married. They're not married to their husband. If they were married, then your father lights Shabbat candles?
No.
What, he needs to light his own candles. It's an unusual thing when a husband and a wife do mitzvot separately from each other. But today, it's already something. I read an article about people, husbands and wives, they buy next door houses with each other. He has a house, she has a house.
It's good for property.
It's good for somebody, for sure. For somebody, it's good. Also, a nice investment. It makes divorce easier. I don't know. She gets her house and half of his house, and then Shalom Aleichem. So here we have. So according to Rambam, he tells you there's a minhag in Sefarad. You can argue how this minhag developed, where did it come from, but the halacha is essentially some glorification of the first opinion, which is the base mitzvah is one candle for every household, no matter how many people are there. So to increase the mitzvah means that you make one Chanukiah per household, and that Chanukiah is for everybody who lives inside of the house. And who lights it? The head of the home. I'm already going to skip a little bit. In my home, you've seen what we do. First off, I'm going to speak to you soon how you light more than one Chanukiah in a house. But let's say in our house, we light. So I say the bracha, and then I light. And every night, I give the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth candle to whoever else is in the house. Elchanan is going to ask me, now with Yedidia, what are we going to do?
I know. When we were very little, you used to let us light our own because that's what they told us to do at school. Now we just light our and whoever is able to light, just light.
I mean, Achan, do you know where I learned that from? That in the beginning I should let you do what they do in school, and then when you grow up, you should. I'll tell you, it says in the Haggadah, "Metechila ovedei avodah zara hayu avodenu." In the beginning, our forefathers used to worship idols. Until Hakadosh Baruch Hu brought us to serve Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So sometimes you have to let the people do what they do in school, and then when they grow up, they follow the Torah. That's something that's important. But definitely not with the bracha, and definitely not in the same place. I'll give you an example. If you go to somebody's house, you look through the window of their house, let's say, and you see 37 candles in the window. I don't know. Okay, see. How do you know which night of Chanukah it is? How do you know how many people are in the house? Even in the world where you're lighting 80 candles, you have to light it in such a way that I could tell that it's 80 candles. If there's no way for me to tell, then what did you really fulfill? You just made a bonfire. What is a bonfire? You have to make Chanukah here, another one over there, another one over there, but to put them all in the same place, it doesn't make sense to light. So, how can you light Shabbat candles in a place where a woman has already lit Shabbat candles? Sometimes we go somewhere, and the Shabbat, they ask my wife, hey, you want to come light candles also? And I always think in my head, are you trying to get my wife to go to Gehenna? You want her to say Hashem's name in vain for what? You lit candles, they look beautiful, they lit up the whole house already. What do you? That's and I listen. I missed the mitzvah. I don't have a mitzvah. I don't like people. They get very emotional about it. Sometimes my wife, for example, she'll tell people the guests and says they want to light candles. It's okay, so you light the candles. If it's so important for you to light candles, there should be candles here. What does it make? How do you light a bunch of candles in one place? Now you want to light candles here, another one lights by the dining room table, another one on the kitchen table. Fine, you're a fire hazard. You're gonna figure out on your own, but that you might be able to do. But to have candles all in one place, it's unusual.
They do that in yeshivot, though. They have tables where hundreds of people light.
Yeshivot, they have another problem. They light candles all in the dining room. It's not where they sleep. Okay? On top of that, they all light thousands of candles. On top of that, because the room is so hot, the candles burn faster. And very often I've walked around and seen that nobody fulfills the mitzvah because the candle didn't last for 30 minutes. It didn't last for 30 minutes. That means, but it could have lit, yeah, but you lit it in a place where it couldn't fulfill the mitzvah. What are you going to do then? A lot of berachot levatala. A lot. Okay, tough. This is very simple mitzvah. How you observe Chanukah? One Chanukah per house for everybody in the house. Yes?
According to Rambam's Mahadir, so let's say one household has 6 in the family, another has 3, so where do they light the neighbors? They separate them in different parts so it's going to be together.
No, they would light it outside because he is lighting, for this household, 3 candles.
And he's not worried that for the guy in the street, so won't know which night of Chanukah.
Seemingly, the guy in the street doesn't know anything about what's happening. He doesn't know if he's mehader. He doesn't know if he's a mitzvah. He doesn't know if he's a mehader, mina mehader. He doesn't know.
So the way the Ashkenazim do it is that no one gets confused. It's its own place, its own piece.
You're saying the Chanukah is on its own, but 20 people light in the same tray, no?
Not if they have separate windows, but even if, you still...
Oh, no, the separate windows, I understand. I don't understand it from the Rambam. I understand it from the perspective of Ashkenazim. That makes sense to me. They want to fulfill Ashkenazim minhag, but not all lighting in the same place.
And I'm saying that they're basically doing what the Rambam is saying, just separating the candles into separate menorahs for each person instead of all together.
So you're saying that we should say that they're just fulfilling the mehadrin of the Rambam.
That's already with the prophecy then, but I'm saying as far from what it looks like, that people look, as the pursuing this and saying, see which day it is, it's less confusing that way.
It's less confusing. Okay, I like to make Jews look good. I appreciate it. It's good. No, it's good. I like it. Tov. Ner sheyesh lo shne piyot. A candle that has 2 mouths. What does it mean? When we say candle in halakha, we don't mean candle. Can I borrow somebody's bowl here? I did. Bowl. Okay, can I have another bowl? I mean, no, can you bring me 2 clean bowls from the kitchen, please? For right now, we'll use this. See, this is a candle in halakha. You fill it with oil. And then you put a wick here. Yeah? Now, usually the candle, you've seen those like, they're old, they're like earthenware, and they have like a little, like a spout almost. You lean the wick in there. Yeah? So if you have a candle that has 2 spouts, you guys know what I'm talking about? No. Let me try to find you a picture.
I've seen like a scented candle like that has like multiple wicks coming out.
Get that picture.
Is that a Steindelt edition?
Yeah.
Beautiful. By the way, that's coming out in English now. You heard? Exactly what they showed you now. But I don't know if everyone saw it. Everyone saw it? That's good. Imagine chaver like this. You see this? It's a bowl. You see this? And the bowl has a wick you put in. Imagine, look. Now, see the bowl? You're going to hold it for me. Hold it for me. You're my display man. Now, Baruch, he does it better than me, okay? He knows how to make his own wicks. But let's say you roll this wick. Don't do this for Chanukah. It's not going to last you 30 minutes, okay? And now you put a wick like this, because over here, really, it's pointed a little bit, you see? And here, it's pointed a little bit. She's showing off, you see? Her father makes wicks. So now, you have here a candle and here a candle. You see that? Okay. Halakha wants to know, Avinam, is this 1 candle or 2 candles?
1.
Says Rabbenu HaRambam, ner sheyesh lo shne piyot ole li shne bnei adam. It counts for two people. You and me can light with the same candle. Wait. Milek, so that has 2 points. You see these points? It means there are 2 separate candles. You can light it. That's why the picture that Gittel and Raviv showed us is better because it had 2, I don't know what you call them, like 2 feet that stuck out, like Rabbi Steinsaltz put inside of the Mishnah. I wish I had a copy of that to show you. Maybe one day we should have a Rabbi Steinsaltz Mishnah here. Now, the next Mishnah Torah. Look here. He says, Milek hara shemen v'kifa petilot. But what happens if you take a bowl, you fill it with oil, and now you put 8 wicks all around, like this? Can 8 people fulfill the mitzvah like this? It's a round bowl.
Yeah, there are no points. He said if there's points.
He said if there's points. Says Rabbenu HaRambam, Im kafa aleha kli. If you put something on top. It's an example. The bowls are not perfect here. Yes? Kol ptila uftila nechshevet kaneh echad. So now every one is its own candle. Lo kafa aleha kli, but if you leave it open, Naasat kimdura. This becomes a bonfire, like a real torch kind of thing. Yeah. Vafilu kener echad ena necheshevet, and it's not even considered one candle, according to the Chachamim. So Chachamim are very clear that it has to be a candle, and you can't go to La Jolla Cove and say, "Wow, it's Chanukah tonight. Let me light a bonfire." You have a whole fire out there. That's one big candle. It doesn't count for Chanukah. Chanukah needs to be a candle, not a bonfire. Now, that, Avinam, thank you for this. Emma, you could have your wicks back.
Rabbi, when you said that you both light those and candles, it has to be right.
That's 2 spouts.
Okay, so you can light one.
One and one. They can even be facing that way, like Gittel and Raviv showed us, that way. Yes?
I wonder if that one was also doubled over for Shabbat. That's why
It could be. It could be. I'm sure. I don't know if there's a footnote over there that explains to you exactly why he chose that one. But I would understand that Rabbi Steinsaltz does a good job at what he did.
I think we're going to get to this, but the whole, what is the importance of the menorah? Like this.
Which menorah?
Any menorah, with the candle sticking up.
Just that it reminds us of what had happened in the Beit HaMikdash.
So it's more of a symbolic thing rather than.
I'm not certain that Jewish people, how much they lit Chanukiot like the ones you and I see right now. Most of the Chanukiot that you see historically seem, I'm not a historian here, okay, so I cannot tell you that I'm an expert in this. But you see like in Morocco, you see from Syria, you see from Poland, they almost were like a strip. And they just had little spaces to put oil on them. They didn't have fancy arms and all of that. I mean, I'm sure there were some like that also. But the standard Chanukiot that I saw are like a strip like that. Some of them even were round or other shapes, yeah?
So
where did the rule come from that you cannot light around Chanukah? From the Jewish school teachers that don't know anything about Judaism. I had them also when I was a kid. They taught us all kinds of things. The Chanukah cannot be crooked, it cannot be... I don't know.
You already said they all have to be.
I don't know where they made it up from.
You said they all have to be lined up to kind of. They say like if one of them starts lower than another, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Kind of like a genie, the genie lamps, like this. I'm just showing you.
I think they say because of the shamash.
But here, okay. Because of the...
Because of the shamash. Usually you have the shamash on different levels, you can tell what's what. Yeah. But if it's all different levels, then you don't know which one is the shamash. Like, to use other ones.
Oh, because of the shamash. Okay, Chevra, let me tell you about a shamash. Okay, because I'm surprised nobody asked me about a shamash. Notice the Rambam doesn't mention a shamash. There is no such thing as a shamash in halakha, practically. We're going to find one place we mention a shamash. We're going to see it very soon about where we light it, okay? But Chanukah, it's 8 candles. Baruch Hashem, Hashem blessed me with the Chanukiah that I could take out the shamash that doesn't even exist. Okay, I'll talk to you about it in a minute, not right now. We're going to get there. But Chesky is saying that perhaps, so you wouldn't get confused which one is the shamash, because the shamash is usually raised. Some Chanukiot, it's lower. Let's see now.
And now we have the shamash on the ceiling.
Very halal, yafeh, baruch yivanda. the shamash down in the ceiling. En madlikim nerot Chanukah kodem shetishka hachama. Okay, this is a very complicated halacha. Because the Rambam is telling you the law of the Talmud, and Maran HaShulchan Aruch very clearly rules not like the Rambam here. And so you're going to have one of those famous Sephardic clashes. Do you follow the Rambam or the Shulchan Aruch? Now you could follow both if you were planning correctly, but not always. Listen very carefully. En madlikin nerot Chanukah kodem shetishka hachama. You do not light Chanukah candles before sunset. Ela im shekiyata. Rather, you light it with the sun setting. So let's say sun sets at 4:30. I'm making a number. You don't light Chanukah candles at 4 o'clock. It's not normal to light Chanukah at 4 o'clock. But at 4:25, you light Chanukah candles. 4:28, and you light while the sun is setting. You light Chanukah candles. Lo me'acharin velo makdimin. You do not light Chanukah candles earlier. You do not light Chanukah candles later. Shachach, if you forgot. Or hezid, or you intentionally didn't light candles at sunset. Velo hidikim shkiyat hachama, and you did not light with sunset. Madlik veholech ad shetichle regel min hashuk. You can light so long as the people's feet have not stopped walking around the marketplace. Meaning, if you're lighting Chanukah, you're lighting outside. You want to make sure people can see it. You want to make sure people can see it, then you want to make sure people are still outside. Listen carefully. V'chamahu zeman ze, how long is this time? Kimo chatzi sha'a o yoter. About half an hour, a little more. Okay, you have about half an hour. Aval zeman ze. Once this half an hour passes, eino madlik. You no longer light Chanukah candles. So comes 5:15. What's the point of lighting without a blessing? So you feel like you do Chanukah. Well, I'll answer Rachel's question in a second. And it's a good question. Well, let's wait for a minute. Meaning, 5:15, you missed the mitzvah of lighting Chanukah candles. You have a very short window to fulfill the mitzvah of lighting Chanukah. עבר זמן זה אינו מדליק, וצריך ליתן שמן בנר כדי שתהיה דולקת והולכת עד שתכלה רגל מן השוק. And you have to put enough oil in the candles so that it lasts as long as there are people in the market. And we said, how long are people in the market for? About 30 minutes, which that's where you get the idea that your candles have to last for 30 minutes. But they don't have to last from 10 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. They have to last from sunset till about half an hour afterwards. I'm going to explain why in a second. Oh, let's explain why now. Hana, what's your question? Why that time period?
Yeah, why that time period? Because basically it was the next following day already.
A few answers that you see here in halakha. Because if people are not in the street, then nobody sees your candles. This leads the chachamim. Like Maran tells you, well, people can be in the street for a long time later. So as long as people are still in the street, maybe that still works. Therefore, that cannot be when the Rambam is saying what he says. Yes?
So technically you're able to go Kehillat the Chamak and say the Kochavim basically. That's basically
Be'erech.
okay.
So if the Rambam tells you, hey, 5:15 came, you lost the ability to light Chanukah, you're done. There's no more Chanukah for you. The question is why? What?
Earlier. Time changes earlier, so
It makes it harder. I mean, the Rambam says this mitzvah has a very specific time window. Harav Kapach explains this differently. Harav Kapach understands if you light candles during the day, nobody sees them. At 3 p.m., you put Chanukah outside, nobody sees them. And at 9 p.m., everybody has candles because it's nighttime. So the only way you can fulfill the mitzvah in the way that people can see them and people can know that they're special for Chanukah is you light them during sunset. It's the same time that most people don't turn on the lights in their car. It's still enough light outside. People yet can walk for their front door without a light outside because it's not dark, it's not light either. Once you miss that window, says the Rambam, you are not able to fulfill the mitzvah of lighting Chanukah candles anymore. Maran HaShulchan Aruch disagrees. He says you have more time, especially today when you light inside of the house. Now you can fulfill both by just lighting at the time. Maran agrees to the Rambam. So Maran says you can light at 4:30. Good, do it. That's why here in the Beit HaKnesset, I always tell people, light Chanukah candles at 4:30. We'll meet at 6 o'clock. For many years, I've thought of just lighting at 4:30 also, and people can come later to light, to eat with us. It doesn't have to be. And the reason I don't do Chanukah at my house at 4:30 is I don't want people to not light at their house. So I move it to 6. But in the moving it to 6, I ended up lighting at 6. According to the Rambam, I don't fulfill the mitzvah. For many years, it bothered me a lot. If I was here this year, probably I would invite you for 6 o'clock. I would have lit already, though. Yep. And how do I get away with it? I have other things, other tricks up my sleeve. But for right now, this one it's an important thing. Why wait if you're home anyways, and you have candles anyways? So why wait until later? Now you tell me you come home from work at 8 o'clock. So according to the Rambam, you can light. According to Maran, you can. We'll talk about that. But for right now, I'm teaching you this according to the Rambam. So halachot tonight are according to the Rambam. Hidlika. Let's say you lit the Chanukah candles, v'chavta, and they got blown out. Eno zakuk lahadlika pa'am acheret. You don't have to go and light them again. So you lit Chanukah candles in a place they could last for 30 minutes. But something happened. Some freak wind came, blew it out. You don't have to go back and light the Chanukah candles again. You're sitting in your house. You notice one of the candles went out. You don't have to relight it. Can you? Yes, you don't have to. Nishara doleket achar shekalta regel min hashuk. Let's say the candles are still lit at 5:30 p.m. Im ratza lechabota or lesalka ose. If you want to extinguish them or move them away, you're allowed to do that. You can turn off your Chanukah candles. In fact, I do it all the time. Because my Chanukah, you see my Chanukah, a lot of oil. Even when I put water, it still lights for a long time. Sometimes I have to leave the house or I go to sleep. It's 1 o'clock. I don't want to leave candles lit at 1 o'clock in the morning alone when I'm in that. I don't like it. So I put out the candles and that's it. That's the end of the mitzvah. You're allowed to do that. You light at 4:30. Actually, so 5:15, 5:30. That's lit for your tichlei regel min hashuk. You're done. Rachel asked the question: what about lighting without a bracha? So that would be the compromise. You want to light later, like the Shulchan Aruch, but you're afraid of saying the bracha like the Rambam, so you can light without a bracha. That's always my fear of telling people to do mitzvot without a bracha, is that when I tell people not to say a bracha, they stop doing the mitzvah also. Like, keep counting Sivat Omer without a bracha, and nobody counts Sivat Omer anymore. Yeah? Tomorrow night. That's a great question, yeah. Rambam is going to answer that question for us. Okay? So that's going to be very soon. Yes?
When you're up in the menorah and you're using an oil menorah, you can put it out before you go to bed.
Yeah, you could also do the same with your candles. Once they've been lit for the required time, you can put them out. You're done the mitzvah. It's over. Yeah.
I think you can put it out at all.
We say 30 minutes from sunset. Don't be so strict. The 40 minutes is good also. Yeah.
According to Rav Kappa, could you say that now that no one has candles outside since they have lights, now you would be able to, even going to Rambam, light candles later outside?
No, I don't think he would say that. Do you know that I didn't review all the notes of a kapach today before I got to Shiur? I'm
saying going with his logic, because I think his logic makes sense in the wording of the Rambam.
Yes, but how does it make sense then to let you light later?
Because no one has candles in the street now, so if someone sees candles, oh, what's up there? It is.
But so in Yemen they lit candles for the street to see. For the street to see it. In Yemen, nobody lit Chanukah candles in their home. I gave a shiur once, Rav Kapach's writings on Chanukah in Yemen. They didn't light outside in the street, and they didn't light inside of their home. They had kind of like, you might imagine, the way I imagine it in New York, they have this like room before your house, so you can put your coat and the boots and the, I don't know what you call that room. It's kind of like a, in California we call it a sunroom. Yeah, it's like a boyden. What do you call it? A foyer. So the Yemenites would light over there in a place where you could see the Chanukah from the street. Yeah, but maybe one of the shiurim I'm going to give in the coming weeks is going to be about whether you light Chanukah inside or out. But for right now, let's talk about what you're allowed to use to light the. What time do I have? Kol hashemanim v'chol hapetilot kasherot l'ner Chanukah. All of the wicks, all of the candles are all kasher for Chanukah. ואף על פי שאין השמנים נמשכים אחר הפתילה, even though the wicks don't all attract the oil so well, ואין האור נתלית יפה באותן הפתילות, and the flame doesn't light nicely in the candles, in the wicks, all of those you're allowed to, why would you not be allowed to light with certain oils or certain wicks?
Just like Erev Shabbat.
ערב שבת, אלחנן, במה?
מדליקים לו אין מדליקים לו בלחם ולא בחוסן
לא בחוסן.
חוסן ולא בתפילת העיתן ולא בתפילת המדבר ולא בירקה שעל פני המים
לא בזפת.
ולא בשעבה ולא בשמן תיק
ולא בשמן שרפה.
ולא באלה ולא בחלב. נחום עמדי אומר מדליקים בחלב מבושל והחכמים אומרים אחד מבושל ואחד שאינו מבושל.
אין מדליקים בו, אין מדליקים.
בשמן שרפה ביום טוב רביש.
Why don't you use all these lights for Chanukah? Chanukah is telling you now, why don't you use all these lights for Shabbat? What's the problem? Well, some of them. So Rambam writes in the laws, if I had more time, I would take the laws of Shabbat.
Was to enhance the aura of meaning for Shabbat, the light.
Okay, so what's the problem in Shabbat? You were saying.
Also, you wouldn't be able to put it out or move it on Shabbat.
So some of the types of flame you're not allowed to use are because they make too much smoke, and you're gonna end up leaving your house because the candles smell bad, they're burning bad. That's one problem. The bigger problem is on Shabbat, laws of Shabbat, chapter 5 of the Rambam. Is maybe the wick is not burning so nicely. The flame is not. You're gonna start tilting the oil a little because the whole purpose you have Shabbat candles is to use them. You read with them, you eat with them, you sit on the couch with them. So anything that will cause you to adjust the wicks is going to be a problem on Shabbat. Chanukah, are you allowed to use the candles? Nothing, not for nothing. Therefore, you'll never come to use them. Because of that, you can use any wicks and any oils for Chanukah. Says the Rambam, "Va'afilu belelei Shabbat shebetoch yimei Chanukah." Even on the Friday nights that are during Chanukah, mutar lehadik bishmanim uftilot she'asur lehadik be'en ner Shabbat. You can still use wicks and oil that you cannot use for Shabbat, because it's even on Shabbat. Lefi she'asur lishtamesh leor Chanukah ben b'Shabbat ben b'chol, because you're not allowed to use the Chanukah candles for any reason, whether Shabbat or weekdays. ואפילו לבדוק מעות, או למנותן לאורה, אסור. And even something small, like counting how many coins you have, or checking your wallet, you cannot do anything with the Chanukah candles. אלא לראותם בלבד, only to look at them. But for those who write comments, I don't see what happens in the comments. If you want to wait till after the shiur, you can ask me all the questions you want. Now let's talk to you about where you light the Chanukah candles. Where? Which place? But if I'm telling you which way to light, do me a favor. Light olive oil. The mitzvah happened with olive oil. That's the whole story of Chanukah. If you buy red and green candles from Walmart, then someone used to tell me they used to make for their grandkids Christmas kreplach for Chanukah. Hashem Yerachem. We live in an interesting world. Like when I used to fly to Baltimore for yeshiva, they had the Sky Mall catalog. You know what the Sky Mall catalog is? I don't think they have those anymore. You used to shop while you were in the airplane. And one of the things they had was Chanukah you could put on top of your Christmas tree. Because unfortunately, in this country, this is the way half the people celebrate Chanukah. Okay? Yeah, this is not the way that we want to celebrate Chanukah. You want to celebrate Chanukah the way the HaShamayim, use olive oil. Now, it used to be olive oil was very complicated. Baruch would have to roll the wicks for you. You'd have to go squeeze olives. You have to go buy olives, pour the oil. Today you go buy these pre-poured, pre-filled, sometimes those were dangerous. You have to crack the glass off and break your finger. They spill. Today they even make congealed olive oil. It doesn't spill. You can put it upside down. Everything you could do. And it comes 44 of them. And they're a little more expensive. They used to be between about $45 that those cost. But so what? You can fulfill the mitzvah of Chanukah the most ideal way. And you only need one of them in your house. So what's the big deal? If you're going to tell me you're going to light with Chanukah candles because you cannot afford Chanukah oil, please come talk to me. I will take care of it. B'ezrat Hashem, b'li neder, I will take care of it. Ner Chanukah. The candle of Chanukah. Where do we light it? Halacha Zayin. 7. Mitzvah lehanicho al petach beto mibachutz. You light the Chanukah candles on the opening of your house, outside of your house. Betefach hasamuch lepetach, in the, what is the tefach? A fist. Without a thumb. A
But why
tefach,
is it different?
that's within your doorway. What? A tefach, without your thumb, they say 8 centimeters. The Israelis say 2 centimeters. Okay. Al small hanichnas bayit, on the left side of the person coming into the house. Hari, what's on the right side when you come in the house? Mezuzah. What's on the left side? Chanukah. You're wearing on yourself a tzitzit, talit. You come inside surrounded by mitzvot. That was the idea of Chachamim. But Rav Kapach explains that in Yemen they actually lit on the other side. The other side was the side that was facing the street. So they had a little bit of a different minhag, but that was because of the way they lived in Yemen. So the mezuzah can be on the right, Chanukah will be on the left. Vim hayadar ba'aliyah. And if you live on a second floor, not on a first floor. Aliyah is really the attic, but it could be any floor that's above the ground floor. Manicho b'chalon hasimucha l'rshut harabim. You light it in the window facing the public street. V'ner Chanukah shehinicho lemala me-20 amah, and a Chanukah candle that you lit higher than 20 amot. What is 20 amot? If every amah is 1.5 feet, what is 20 amot? 30 feet. How high off the ground are we right now? Michael, how high is 30 feet from this parking lot? Double this? Okay. So let's say you're on the 4th floor. You don't like Chanukah candles in the window. Why? Lo asa klum. You did not fulfill any mitzvah. Mipnei she'eno nikar, because nobody sees the 4th floor. It doesn't matter. Nobody sees it from the street. Now, what do you do when you live in an apartment building? It's one of the more complicated questions. Jews didn't used to live like that. But let's say they tell you in Manhattan, you live on the 37th floor. But lucky you, opposite your building, there's people living on the 37th floor too. Maybe you're lighting Chanukah candles for them. Maybe not. I don't know. The literature on this is wonderful. Similar to sukkah. Why can the sukkah not be very good? Why can the sukkah not be taller than 20 amot, the schach? Because nobody sees it. Eno nikar. One of the reasons given. So, says the Rambam.
Now while we're on the topic of living in an apartment building,
Yes.
situation where we live is all the units face one central courtyard. So basically every window can see every window. We know for a fact that this time there's no other Jewish family living in our building. Do we
Naomi, you're asking a famous question. Do we publicize the miracle to non-Jews also?
Yes.
Nah, this has to do with the next halakha. Bimei sakana, in days of danger. The Chachamim are torn. What does it mean, danger? The Rambam seems to understand danger is if you light a Chanukah outside, it's letting all the non-Jews in the neighborhood know, hey, if you want to kill somebody tonight, this is the right house to come to. Okay? Like Kristallnacht, exact same. Rashi seems to bring an opinion that says, no, the non-Jews, they don't like that you light candles, so they're going to put out your candles. Why would the non-Jews not like that you light candles? It's very important not to make fun of Rashi. Very important. I know the current vogue, let's make fun of Rashi as much as we can, but it's not how we think in this Beit HaMidrash. There's certain holidays of non-Jews that involve lighting candles. Especially you're dealing with a Zoroastrian culture that worships fire. And they don't like that you're messing with their religion in public. And that might cause for problems for you. There's a shita like that also. Bottom line, when it's dangerous for Jewish people, almost like the United States of 2025, Maniach ner Chanukah betoch beto mibifnim. You light the Chanukah candles in your house, inside. Not on the window. Vafilu hinicho al shulchano dayo. Even if you put it in the table in your dining room, that's good enough. V'tzarich liot betoch habayit ner acher lishtamesh leoro. Wait, before we get there. So why are you lighting Chanukah candles in your living room and the dining room table when nobody outside can see it? For who? For the people in the house. For you. At the very least, the mitzvah of Chanukah is for you. And therefore, when you cannot light outside, you light inside. It doesn't matter anymore if the inside is facing outside. Naomi, doesn't matter anymore who's living outside. Nowadays, that you're lighting a Chanukah inside, you're lighting a Chanukah for you and for your family. Now the question would be, is there an added benefit in lighting in a window in a place where you can see it and people in the street can see it? That goes back to the first sentence. How dangerous is it for you to light Chanukah candles in your window? But the problem with lighting Chanukah candles inside is that if you light Chanukah candles inside, you have to make sure there is another light inside of the house, because you're not allowed to use these candles you're lighting inside. Do you light an extra shamash outside? No. There is no such halacha, period, to light a shamash when you light outside. Are you with me? So a shamash, what is a shamash? When I light Chanukah candles inside, I have to make sure there's light inside of my house, to make sure that nobody comes to use the candles I'm lighting over here on the table for Chanukah. When you're, Chesky said the shamash now is the ceiling. When you look up right now, you need a shamash in your Chanukah? You have lights. So why light a shamash? HaRambam used to say, you light a shamash to announce to everybody, I am an am haaretz. That's why you light a shamash. To tell people that you're ignorant of halakha. That's the only reason to do it. For many years, when I wasn't the rabbi of this Kehillat, I used to have a shamash. Why? Because every am haaretz used to come to my house and tell me, oh, the rabbi, you forgot to light a shamash. Like, you are going to tell me like why Abba Benin was named after the hospital. Yeah, they asked me. So he tells. So I asked the Rabbi, what should I do? He said, fine. You want to have a shamash? Have, but promise me you're not going to use olive oil. So for many years, if you remember, I had paraffin oil inside of the shamash and ova until Rabu Amei Haaretz, and they would ask me, why didn't you do the shamash with the like manishana mikol halelot? And then I had to start answering questions. Baruch Hashem that we have Kehillat HaShamayim, because without you, I would be crazy already by now. So thank you very much for existing. I appreciate you more than you know. Vim hayta sham medura. And if there was a bonfire in the house, where would there be a bonfire in the house? Instead, why would you have a bonfire in your house? It's cold. You have a chimney, a fireplace. You light a fire so you stay warm. If you have that already in the house, then you don't have to light a shamash at all. So the Rambam tells you explicitly, if there is light in your house, do you need to light a shamash? No. V'im adam chashuvu. What if you're a very important person, like high status person? She'en darko lishtamesh limdura. That you don't usually use bonfires. Clearly there's something in rabbinic culture that I'm important. I have a lamp on my desk. I don't go sit by the fire over there writing my checks. You know, is that how? So that kind of person who doesn't use the bonfire ever, he has to have his own shamash. So you punish yourself, you have to have a shamash. But for the most part, if you have a light in your house, you don't have to have a shamash, period. Just don't. Wow, what are you going to do with the extra 8 candles that are left inside of your box I just told you to order? Light Shabbat candles with them. Light Shabbat candles. Nowadays, where should you light? Okay, halakha tet. Ner Chanukah. Chanukah candle. Shehidliko cheresh, shote vekatan. That somebody who is deaf or mentally unwell, or he's a child who lights candles, or goy, or a non-Jew lights candles. Lo asa klum. He didn't fulfill the mitzvah at all. Ad sheyadliko mishu chayav b'hadlaka. So if your wife lights Chanukah candles, you fulfill the mitzvah. If your child lights Chanukah candles, you don't fulfill the mitzvah. If your non-Jewish assistant lights Chanukah candles, you don't fulfill the mitzvah. If somebody who lives in the home, who is not part of functional society, and could be a cheresh, status has changed already. I'm not telling you the same. I'm just telling you that people who are not part of society, not obligated to mitzvot, therefore cannot fulfill the mitzvah for you. Hidliko min bifnim, v'otziot daluk, v'inicho al petach beito. Let me give you an example. Okay, let's say, Esther, can I use your house as an example? Let's say Papa Grande, he gets a Brit Milah like he always wanted. And he now becomes the head of the household. But it's too much headache for him to walk outside to light Chanukah candles. Okay, let's say it's too hard for him. So there's a great idea. Meir is going to hold the Chanukiah for him. He's going to bring it to his room. Michael is going to give him a candle that's lit. And he's going to light the Chanukiah inside the house. And then Esther is going to walk with Meir and put it outside. Yes? Does that count for Chanukah? Says Rabbenu HaRambam, Lo asa klum. It doesn't count for anything. Ad she'adlikenu bimkomo. Until you light it in the right space. Meaning, you saw that the moment you light Chanukah candles, if it gets blown out, that you don't have to relight it. So what does it tell you? What's the mitzvah? To light the candles, not to have candles that are already lit. And therefore the mitzvah to light the candles has to happen by the right person, in the right place. And the Rambam tells you also at the right time. Achaz haner biyado ve'amad. Let's say, Naftali, when he grows up, he tells his kid, listen, you're in timeout. So where are you going to stand? You go stand by the door. And while you're by the door, be useful. You're going to be the Chanukiah tonight. You tell him, you hold the candle. Okay? Now your kid is standing there holding the candle. He counts for your Chanukiah. Can you use somebody as your Chanukiah? That's the question. You have a guy, I don't know, you have somebody who works for you. He says, listen, I want overtime. You say, fine, I'm paying you, you be my Chanukiah. Stand outside, you hold Chanukah candles, okay? But you know it's forbidden halakha to make a person do that, yes? It's forbidden halakha to make a person who works for you do work that is demeaning for them to do in a way that is useless work. Demeaning like he's a plumber, but it's not demeaning, that's his job. But you be my Chanukiah is a job you can't give somebody. But let's say you decide, I don't have a Chanukiah. I'm going to go stand outside for 30 minutes. You tell your wife, I'll be back soon. I'm holding the Chanukah candle outside. Let's say. Okay? What happens? Does that count for the mitzvah? No, let's say you light only one candle per house. He's so poor he doesn't have a Chanukiah. So now he has one Chanukah candle, and now he's going to stand there every night for 30 minutes.
Because we live in a world of so much abundance.
That we don't understand. Right? Candles are expensive when you don't have, in the old world.
They're expensive. Where are you going to get them? Unless you make them.
You make them, and people have oil. So what happens here? Says the Rambam, it doesn't count for Chanukah. Why? Sharoeh Omer, the one who sees it says, Letzorko hu omed. He's standing there because he's looking for something. I don't know. He's letting the mailman know, hey, Amazon, I'm here. Go where the candle is. You're telling your Uber driver, I'll come to where the candle is. Yeah? He doesn't. You see a person walking outside with a flashlight, you don't assume he's holding a flashlight for Chanukah. You assume he's looking for something or he's using a candle. Therefore, it doesn't count for a mitzvah. Ashashit. Shahayta doleket kol hayom kulo. Yael, your question. What if you have a lamp and it's still lit the whole day? Now, this Rambam's particular case is that it's like it's not a Chanukah candle. It's just the light that you light. It's Ashashit usually used to use it for like it's a small flame for a long amount of time. Yes, but it's still burning. Now you want to use it for your Chanukah candle. But let's use the scenario, a better one that you suggested, which is I have Chanukah candles. I lit them last night. They're still lighting tonight. I put so much oil in there. My candles can do that. They can last from tonight till tomorrow night. Do I have to relight the candles? Very good. It says the Rambam, Ashashit, for example, will be on Shabbat. You have a flame in your house, you leave it the whole Shabbat. Lemotzei Shabbat, on Saturday night, Mechaba, you have to put it out. Umvarech, and you say bracha, umadlika, and you light the candle. Shehadlaka hi ha-mitzvah, lo ha-hanacha. Because the lighting is the mitzvah, not the placing of the candle is the mitzvah. ומותר להדליק נר חנוכה מנר חנוכה אחר. And you are allowed to light one Chanukah candle from another Chanukah candle, contrary to what they tell you at school. They tell you need the shamash in order to light the other Chanukah candles because you cannot light one Chanukah candle from another one. I don't know who made up the lie.
So the only time you can use
Is to light another Chanukah. Very good. Because that's for the purpose of Chanukah. Very good. I mean, the one thing you're allowed to use Chanukah candles for is light other Chanukah candles. Now, those of you who light with oil, you cannot use your shamash anyways to light other candles with because you're going to spill oil everywhere. You can't light one oil. So you end up anyways having a candle or a lighter or something that you use to light the candles with. But even if you were to light with candles, you're allowed to light your Chanukah candles from other Chanukah candles. That's not a problem. The problem is, Zev will appreciate this. The problem is only learning laws of Torah from people who never learned it themselves. And then they make things up, and they make things up for so many years in a row that that's what everybody thinks. And if God forbid somebody sees you lighting Chanukah candles from other Chanukah candles, next thing they're going to ask you is what hechsher do you have in your tomato sauce? That's the next thing they're going to ask you. So we're almost done, Chavel. Let's just finish up these halachot. Chatzer. I told you an example of where you have to light 2 Chanukiot. Okay. Chatzer sheyesh la shne petachim b'shtei ruchot. If you have a house that has 2 openings to the public domain, I'm trying to think who here has a house like that. I do. Okay, but mine is a little different. Imagine, I have a front yard that faces Syracuse Avenue, and I have a backyard that faces the freeway. You also have. Very good. You face 2 streets. The thing is, by you don't have an entrance on the side. Yeah, from Pavlov.
You do have a gate.
That goes to the front or to the side. Really? I didn't know that. Okay, look at that. So in the world where you used to light in your gate of your house, in the entryway, now you have a house that opens to 2 different directions. So where do you light the Chanukah candles, says the Rambam? Tzricha shne nerot. You have to light in both places. Shelo yomru ha'ovrim beruach zo. So the people who are walking on Erlanger don't say, Lo hinichu na Chanukah. They didn't light Chanukah candles in this house. But if your doorways both face the same direction, yeah, then it doesn't matter. You light in the one of the 2. But this means, in which scenario do you have to light 2 Chanukiot? When your home faces 2 directions. In our house, based on this halakha, we do something interesting. I do something that is my own thing. You don't have to do it. It's just my thing. I light a Chanukiah outside of the house. To fulfill that which the Jewish people do, light Chanukiot outside of the house. But it bothers me that we don't light Chanukah candles outside. I'm not afraid of my neighbors. Not yet. Soon. It gets more scary living here.
Our house has 3 exits facing twice.
Our house has 3 exits facing different. Tell me.
Plus, that's in one through the garage, one at the front, and the one facing to the front.
So now, Naomi asked me if you have to light Chanukah candles for non-Jews. You just made the question even better. What about, do Greeks have to celebrate Chanukah? Good. So here you have a fascinating question. I'm not going to answer it right now. Not on the camera. So, in my house, we light inside with a bracha, and then quietly, without speaking, we walk outside, and we light another Chanukiah in the front yard, where you're supposed to light the Chanukah candles, opposite the mizrah, without a bracha. And we call it the Rabbanit's Chanukiah. So to answer your question, what happens when we run out of Chanukah candles because we already have 6 children? Baruch Hashem, we have enough Chanukah candles for another 8 children outside. B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow. In that case, if you have to have more than that, you're anyways going to need a house with more doorways, so you'll already have more Chanukah. B'ezrat Hashem. Amen. Zev, today I had to go shopping for some things. We're going on the trip. We have to get some things, We don't have winter clothes in San Diego. We had to go get them. And some person who knows me for a long time, he met me in the mall and he says, "You have enough kids already?" I said, "Did I ask you to raise them, to pay for them, to look at them, to keep walking? What kind of reshaim live in the world? I don't even understand." I said, "You have enough money already?" I know how much money. You have enough money already? You're still working. I can finish these halachot. It's going to take me a few minutes. Let me finish them quickly. A guest. What does it mean a guest? A traveler. Who they light for him inside of his house. Let's say I need to go to Los Angeles the second night of Chanukah to go visit somebody. Okay, imagine. I'm not sleeping there. So I'm going to come back to San Diego. Which means the time in which I will be lighting Chanukah candles, I will not be home. For sure not according to the Rambam. Oh wait, this is even better. I'm going to sleep in LA. let me go sleep in Los Angeles. But in my house in San Diego, they're lighting Chanukah candles. Why? Because my wife is there. אינו צריך להדליק עליו במקום שנתארח בו. He does not have to light candles in the place where he is sleeping. אין לו בית להדליק עליו בו. Let's say you don't have a house that people light candles for you in because people are homeless. צריך להדליק במקום שנתארח בו. Then you have to light in the place where you're sleeping in. ומשתתף עמהם בשמן, and you share the cost of the oil with them. This bothered my father-in-law very much. I rarely travel Chanukah, but I'm usually here. But I went Chanukah to my father-in-law. Mamash, the first year, second year I was married. I don't. We had El-Chanan already. We didn't have. I don't remember. We didn't have El-Chanan. And I went to my father-in-law and I said, "Listen, you're lighting a Chanukah candle." He said, "You light your own Chanukah." I said, "No, I can't do another Chanukah. Rather, what am I going to do? Please take some money, and I'm going to share the oil with you." Now, first off, my father-in-law will never take money from me. It is beneath him to take money from anybody. Like I told you the story, my father-in-law, I asked him, I want to ask respect, like, which chair is yours? I don't want to sit in his chair. I said, which chair is yours? He said, all the chairs are mine. Yeah, like that's but never is going to be a situation where I give my father-in-law money. He doesn't need it. Baruch Hashem, till 120 shouldn't need anybody's money. But I said, here, how much? 20 shekels, 50 shekels? Like, what kind of crazy thing you want to share the oil? I bought my own oil. I said, no, I need you to light Chanukah candles for me. So he agreed. But it bothered them every night. Sometimes I wasn't even home for Chanukah lighting. Let's say I went to Rav Peretz's house. I was sitting with him. I know my father lights at 5:30 Chanukah candles. I'm still sitting with Rav Peretz till 7 o'clock. I'm not coming home. Forgive me. I'm sitting there. I know he's lighting in the house. I fulfill the mitzvah of Chanukah like that. In his mind, it can be, how could you fulfill the mitzvah of Chanukah? You're not even home for it. But this is exactly the halakha. You can fulfill the mitzvah of Chanukah is on the home where you are sleeping. And as long as somebody who is Jewish, who is sleeping in the house, who's obligated to mitzvot, old enough, is lighting candles, it could be your wife, could be your husband, they can light the candles for you. The Chacham Ovadia Yosef took this to a very far place, like a little too far in Rav Peretz's opinion, which was if you go to yeshiva, let's say you're in San Diego, you go to yeshiva in Israel, you don't light Chanukah candles there. Why? Because your father lights Chanukah candles for you in San Diego. A little bit of a stretch, but this is where the idea comes from. Let's say you have your own house. Let's say I rent an Airbnb. It's my own house. Even though they light for me in my house in San Diego because Rabbanit is home, you have to light in the candle that you're in because of the people that are walking by. They shouldn't say nobody lit Chanukah candles in this house.
So if you're in Airbnb,
You have to light Chanukah candles. Now, El-Chanan and Avinoam, I shared with them a conundrum that I have. I never travel on Jewish holidays. Mamash, I try not to be out of my house, not for Chanukah. And if I'm holidays and if Shabbat, I always try to spend Shabbat with Jews. Like to go to a hotel for Shabbat, like I almost never, unless I'm forced to, I would never do such a thing. Avinoam, what did I share the conundrum is? For 2 nights of Chanukah this year, I'm going to be spending Chanukah in Philadelphia in a hotel. And I cannot light Chanukah candles in the room of the hotel. They don't let you light fire. What am I now? Listen, if I'm in an airplane, in the airplane, I could say Rabbanit lights candles from here. I'm in a place where I'm not obligated. What is it? I'm flying a tube in the sky. Okay, but what about? I was once Chanukah in an airplane, Rabbanit. What did I do? I relied on Rabbi Yosef Masas. Don't tell anybody in public because Rabbi didn't rely on Rabbi Yosef Masas in this regard. And I didn't say a bracha. And I turned on, that light up there. I turned on the light, and I. At least according to Rabbi Yosef Masas, maybe, I don't know if about LED lights, but maybe I fulfilled the mitzvah. I don't know what to tell you. I saw I wasn't the only one. I saw one guy, Rabbanit, with 7 flashlights in his bag. He lit them and hid them in his bag. And he let them, the whole flight, he had flashlights in his bag. Okay, that's also a little crazy. We're all crazy. What can I tell you? So what do I do? What am I going to do in Philadelphia? I have no clue. I called Rabbi Yosef. He said, maybe I should ask the front desk if I could light downstairs by the front desk. Now, that only works according to those who say you can light downstairs. Rav Peretz was of the opinion that when you light Chanukah candles downstairs, nobody knows that it's your Chanukah. You're supposed to light in the entrance of your room upstairs. So he was of the opinion that those people in the apartment buildings in Yerushalayim, that 100 people light downstairs, they don't fulfill the mitzvah of lighting. I know, I know Chachamim said you could do that, but I see 30 Chanukiot on a building. I don't know who's there. In your window, I see a Chanukiah. In your doorway, he used to light inside of the apartment building on the staircase, in the doorway. He had, like, across from his mezuzah, he had his wife made a shelf, and he lit on top of I think his wife made it. I don't know who made the shelf. She was the artist in the house. And then he put a Chanukiah on top of it, without a shamash. He would always like to show him. Last 3 halachot for tonight, just how important it is to light Chanukah candles. Mitzvah ner Chanukah. The mitzvah of Chanukah, mitzvah chaviva hi ad meod, is a very precious mitzvah. V'tzarich adam lizaher ba, and a person should be very careful about it. Kedei lehodia hanes ulhosif b'shevach ha'el v'hodaya lo al hanisim she'asa. In order to publicize the miracle and to add thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the miracles He does for us. Afilu en lo ma yochal, even if you don't have money to eat, ela mina tzedakah, you get money from the soup kitchen, food stamp. Are you living on not like the people who have money and they collect tzedakah? I mean, people, they don't have money. They rely solely on other people's tzedakah. Shoel, shoel doesn't mean to borrow here. In this context, shoel is connected to the Rambam, the laws of Shabbat, where he says a person who begs in the door, where he goes, go beg for money, or sell your clothing, and you buy candles and oil and you light. How much? How much does it cost to buy 1 jug of olive oil or a box of candles? How much does it cost? 100? Candle. Let's say candle. Make it cheap. A box of 8 candles. How much does it cost?
$5.99.
Let's make it $10. Even the person who is poor, that's oil for 44 candles. The mitzvah is 1 candle. You're not lighting 44 candles if you're poor. You're lighting 1 candle. So you go buy 1 candle for every night, and you light that candle. By the way, you could go buy one of those, 8-day candles, 10-day candle, whatever they have, the Yortzeit candles, without Yeshu hanging on it. Okay, the other one. No acrobats on the candle, please. You go, you buy the candle. It lasts you for 5 days. You buy 2 of them. You light it tonight, half an hour, you put it out. Tomorrow night, half an hour, you put it out. Tomorrow, half an hour, you put it out. That's how you fulfill the mitzvah. And if you don't have $10, go knock on somebody's door and collect money in order to light candles. That's how important the mitzvah of Chanukah is. Because the mitzvah of Chanukah has to do with publicizing HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the world. And that's the origin of what it means to be Jewish. Yes? Even though it's a rabbinic mitzvah, you understand? Even though it's rabbinic, it's still that important. What if you only have 1 coin? It's meaning you can only buy a candle, 1 candle. And either you can make kiddush on wine, or you could buy a candle for Chanukah. You choose to buy a Chanukah candle and not to buy wine for for kiddush. Because both of them are rabbinic, the Chanukah candle is rabbinic, and even though kiddush, maybe to do kiddush is doraita, but to do it on wine is rabbinic, mutav lakdim ner Chanukah, it's more important to do to the candle of Chanukah, sheyesh bo zichron hanes, because through the candle you remember the miracles. Why do you light Shabbat candles? What's the reason? To make peace in the home, so people are not tripping on each other, they enjoy their time, there's light in the house. So between the miracle and kiddush, you choose the miracle. Why do you do kiddush on the wine? Because to say Shabbat on an important thing. I skipped the halakha. The last halakha. What if you have an option to either buy candles for your home or for Chanukah? Now there's an argument among the poskim whether this means for Shabbat or this means any light in your house. Okay, but let's run with Shabbat. Okay, it's just easier for you to say Shabbat. You can choose between Shabbat candles and Chanukah candles. Or ner beto v'kiddush hayom, or the candle for Shabbat and the kiddush. Ner beto kodem. You choose always the candle of your home. Mishum shalom beto, because of shalom bayit, the peace in your home. Sharei Hashem nimchak la'asot shalom b'nish ishto, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu erases his own name in order to make peace between the husband and wife. Where does that happen? In which story do you erase the name of Hashem? The Sotah, the woman who's Sotah. We erase the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu so that she can get back together with her husband. So for sure you can skip a mitzvah of Kiddush. in order to have, or mitzvah of Chanukah even, to have Shabbat candles. Gadol HaShalom, says the Rambam. The peace is the greatest thing. Shekol HaTorah nitena la'asot shalom ba'olam. The whole purpose that the Torah was given. Why was the Torah given, Elchanan? To make peace in the world. Shneimar, like it says in Mishle, deracheha dachei noam, v'chol netivoteha shalom, because her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all of her pathways are peaceful, meaning the most important mitzvah is peace. And between Chanukah candles and peace, we're always going to choose peace. This is a very important halakha. I've quoted this halakha in other contexts. Gadol HaShalom is not some fluffy concept. Practically, when you have to choose between Shabbat candles, which is meant to make peace between you and your wife, and Chanukah candles, which is meant to publicize the name of God in the world, you erase the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you keep peace inside of your house. This is a very, very deep halakha. There's a lot to be said about this halakha. Maybe one day we'll have a chat. Maybe on Sunday night. I'll share with you something very important connected to this halakha. But for right now, because we finished the whole book of the Rambam now, we could say, Berich Rachamana Desayan. Blessed is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the compassionate, who has helped us finish the laws of Chanukah and Hallel according to the Rambam. Chaver, thank you so much. This is cool mitzvot. My dream, Chaver, is that one day everybody should know the whole Tanakh and the whole Mishneh Torah. Because in very few words, you will know everything you need to know about Judaism.